With us, you're watching News Desk. Now, ODM Party is expected to issue a ticket to Professor Yusuf Elmi to battle it out with other candidates for the Wajir West by-election. Professor Elmi vied in the last election under the Wiper ticket, coming in third. Let's cross over to the party headquarters and listen in.
One of the methods that ODM has in its constitution and can invoke at any time, depending on the circumstances and within the democratic space. A lot of times when we give direct tickets, I see the media asking a lot of questions as if it is illegal, as if it is not within our constitution. It is. And usually the media questions ODM more than any other party or parties. But I want to say that probably that is because ODM is considered to be more democratic in this country as a political party. These seats belong to ODM, as you are all aware. Our candidate in the last election, who actually won on ODM ticket, yet although we are aware that his win was annulled in court, at the Supreme Court, that candidate opted not to defend his seat on ODM ticket. But this seat is traditionally this constituency, I think, traditionally has always been supporting the cause which we believe in. It's not just even ODM. I think you all know that ODM is a party that has a history, has some policies, it has some principles, and it has just been changing over the years. And if you are someone who is keen on the history of the politics of this country, you would realize that Wajir West has persistently and consistently been supporting the cause which ODM stands for. And we have no doubt that this is a seat that we are going to win overwhelmingly, that no one is going to again challenge it in course. Probably we didn't have a very strong candidate in the last election. That is why the win was that narrow, to have the same annulled in court. This time round, Professor Elmi and the people who have come with him and who have supported him all the way to Orange House, and those of us who will come down to Wajir West, we are going to make sure that this win this time is decisive, and there will be no doubt about it. So this is going to be our candidate, and is going to be veiled officially and given the certificate by the person who has the powers to do that. I think as ODM we respect our rules, we respect our procedures. Even the national chairman gets his certificate when it is contesting for any position from the chair of National Elections Board. By the way, even the party leader, for him to run as our president, he has always to get that certificate from Madam Judy Pareno. And therefore, Madam Judy Pareno, I want to leave the floor for you to officially now hand over the certificate to our candidate. And the party promises very serious and vigorous campaign. We will not spare anything, from human resource to even divine intervention, to make sure that we win this seat. Thank you very much.
So we will be giving out that certificate, and of course the tradition has to be maintained. We will not rest until that tradition of always having Wajir West with us is done. So karibu chair and
yeah.
So this certificate is so blessed.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. We will have our candidates say one or two words before we finally disperse.
Thank you, Chair, the Honorable John Buddy, the ED, members of the Fourth Estate, and my supporters here and friends. It is indeed a great pleasure and a privilege to be nominated to be given the certificate of nomination for ODM. ODM is not an ordinary party. is an extraordinary party, led by extraordinary people with an extraordinary party leader. So, as you have been told, Wajir West is traditionally or historically an ODM zone. This is not something that began now. It began in 1964 with the KPU. So that tells you we have a long history that binds us to ODM as a party because of its principles. And these principles are essentially equity and justice is what brings us and binds us to these people of ODM. So you have heard from the chair that ODM will not spare to ensure that this seat is actually delivered. And I will promise the people here that this seat will definitely come back to ODM, because not only the people, but yeah, inshallah ta'ala, the time is ripe. The other thing.
All right, there you have it. Professor Yusuf Elmi right there handed the certificate of nomination by the ODM party. Remember, this comes right after the courts nullified the win of the former Wajir West Member of Parliament, Mohammed Kolosh, who actually later on stood down from the party or resigned from the ODM party, hence warranting the certificate of nomination being handed over to Professor Yusuf Elmi right there.